evening mga kaibigan. Everyone, welcome to In My Toolbox, your weekly talk show on your personal finance. Of course, dito lang po yan sa PHLV Radio. The goal of this show, of course, guys, is to give you financial information that you may be able to use on your day-to-day financial decisions. Of course, we will unbox topics that will hopefully aid you and guide you and maybe even add to your financial tools. We will tackle information, very important information, mostly not taught in school, but it's so much needed to empower you financially. As usual, mga kaibigan, in any idea that will transpire in this show, always consult with your financial advisors, insurance professionals, or tax consultants. My name is Enrico Pobre, of course, your host. I'm a sales, marketing, and trainer, an economist, an entrepreneur, and a financial professional. Of course, guys, if you have questions, ask them away on the chat box below, or if you will be listening to this show on a later time, please feel free to connect with me through Facebook page In My Toolbox, or connect with me via Instagram or LinkedIn, or simply Google my name, Enrico Pobre. I bet you guys you'll find me there. Or you can just simply email me at enrico.inmytoolbox@gmail.com. Ayan naman po mga kaibigan. Hey guys, you know what? When I was talking to Johan today, think you know, this is our 6 months already of this show In My Toolbox. Yoo-hoo! All right, man. So, parang kailan lang, it's just 6 months ago. And, of course, the value, I hope you got some value here in the show and you were able to apply it to your personal finance, in some ways, So I'm just so proud that we were able to do 6 months already, and I'm just so excited. And it's just like simply saying that, what do you call this? We're just starting, So thank you so much for all your support, guys, in this show. And I'm just so excited, just like the first time. Oh, first time, ha? Naalala niyo pa ba ang inyong mga first time? All right, guys. So, because this is our 6th month, we're gonna bring back the first topic that we did 6 months ago here in the show. So we're gonna be talking about turning liabilities into asset. Ayan naman. So, but now we call it TLA. Diba? So, but of course, with a little twist, we're not going to be giving you the exact presentation that we did so many months ago. But of course, it's the same idea, but we're just going to be twisting it a little bit. And so allow us, guys, to put turning liabilities into an asset into this episode tonight. So let's just dive down into this topic, okay? So there's a lot of things that's financial. I mean, there's a lot of financial challenges in the country today, So we may talk about retiring. Can you imagine, guys, a lot of people here in this country, they cannot afford to retire. So I was telling people, retirement is real and getting old is real. It's going to come. So today, or should I say yesterday, was the right time to actually build your retirement. So if you guys are listening to me right now, how prepared are you, when retirement comes? Or, if you are in the retirement age right now, are you retired? I remember there was this time that I went to a rehab facility in LA, and I was giving them some advices and some information with regard to the products that I was pushing at the time. And one of those products pertained to retirement. And there was this guy who is actually 60-year-old and says, "Hey, Enrico, I need you to teach me retirement." So I told him, "Have you started, putting some in your retirement?" And he said, "No." So the question really in retirement is, when are you going to start? And I've said a while ago, you should have started yesterday, right? But then again, it is what it is. It is the situation today here in this country that most people can't retire at the age of 65. And of course, not just because of retirement, comfortable retirement is a question. And 78% of supposed to be people retiring are not comfortable retiring. And we don't want to be in that position. We are young today. We might not even think about retirement, but it is actually going to come. and you're not gonna have that same opportunity maybe, or you don't have that energy anymore. You are blessed if you're still healthy at the time, but the what ifs is gonna come. What if you're not? So how ready are you? And then Social Security, of course, you cannot depend on Social Security as a retirement money, and it's the word here is inadequate. So 56% of people should have retired today says that they have an inadequate Social Security benefit. And, income coming in at that age is one thing, but health issue is another thing, And of course, the rising healthcare cost is another problem in retirement. So this is actually, one of those financial challenges that the country is actually facing today. It may not be you, you're blessed, but you may probably know somebody who is in that position. So another financial challenge here in this country is unemployment. So it's good that if you have a job right now, it's good at least if you have a business right now, at least, right? But unemployment rate is 3.6% for the third month in a row, meaning 3.6. That's about 6 million people in this country doesn't have work, right? Debt is also another financial challenge, and it's an uphill climb. The average debt of one person in this country is $26,621. You might not even see it, you might not even know it, but yes, add all those debts that you have, but that's an average. If you just bought a car through a bank finance, how much is a Tesla right now? Oh, that's more than $26,000, right? So the average debt per person in America is so huge. Your house, your credit card, your car, student loan, etc., personal loan. There's a lot, right, that you can think of that you can probably, be in debt of, right? Of course, inflation. We are in inflation state right now, where the annual inflation worldwide was plummeted to 9.2% this year. 9.2% inflation. Versus last year, December, it's 6.4%. That's huge when you talk about inflation. And you see and you feel, guys, today the effect of that inflation. Of course, pandemic is another reason. War in Russia is another reason. Inflation is another huge reason there. We are actually in a perfect storm, right? So these are just some financial challenges that we're facing here today in the United States. Okay? And the reason why I'm talking about this financial problems, because, the financial services sector, they have solutions to these problems. But of course, the question is are those solutions the right solutions, right? But let's just say they are the solution. So let's just talk about, what the financial services is doing to help us to solve those type of a problem. Well, they created, of course, these retirement plans that we've discussed this too many times in the show about these retirement plans. We have what you call the defined benefit, like a pension, or defined contribution, like the 401k, the 403b, right? We have this deferred compensation. We also have products, of course, the mutual funds out there, stocks, the IRAs, the Roth, the Simple, the SEP. These are financial tools that can help the financial challenges that we're in today. Or probably, we have life insurance strategies that can help us even more, into this financial challenges. We've heard this too many times: buy term, invest the rest, tax-free retirement. We've heard of this one. You don't have to die to use a life insurance policy. Infinite banking concept. We've heard about Section 162, a key person life insurance, a buy-sell agreement life insurance, the income replacement, etc. This is life insurance strategies that you guys can learn, right, on solving those financial challenges. Another one, okay, annuities. You guys may have an annuity right now, but do you understand? how an annuity works. We talked about here in this show as well how an annuity work. We have what you call an SPIA, or a single premium immediate annuity, a variable annuity, a fixed annuity, and a fixed index annuity. How about the banks? Okay, let's just consider them as one of the solutions. That's okay, right? So checking or savings or CDs. These are today's common financial solution that's supposed to be what? Helping us on those financial challenges that we're facing. Okay? So, but the problem here, guys, is of all of this financial solution, how do you fund those financial solution? There you go. Yes, we have those products. That is right. But the problem is, how do you fund those products? Okay, whatever product it is. Even as simple as savings account, you have to put money there, right? So it's an income. For you to be able to make sure that you have, you can use or make use of those products, financial solutions, you have to have first one, income. You have to have an income. It is very necessary to fund all of these platforms, with a discretionary income. Not just an income. You have to have a discretionary income or disposable income. Kumbaga, sobra ba mga kap? Kailangan may sobra tayo, So you must find extra money to fund these strategies. So we need this extra money to fund these programs. Otherwise, it will not work, right? Well, I know we try, right? So that's just how it is. We have to have an income, a disposable income, and then put it into those financial tools. Okay? Now, but let's just say, guys, if we have the money, or we're able to find the money, we still have one culprit left. Again, we have the financial solution. Now we know that we need income, a disposable income to fund those. Say we have those, right? There's another culprit of your money. And I call it the termites of your money. O, di ba? Anay ng iyong kayamanan. So there's what you call termites of your money. I don't know if this is the first time to hear about termites of your money. And these are the termites of money, guys. You talk about fees. You talk about inflation. We mentioned that a while ago. We talked about, interest rates. And of course, we talked about taxes. These are the termites of your money. So, again, if you know that there are termites in your house, wouldn't you do something about it? I know you're going to be calling, these people to exterminate, the exterminator to exterminate these termites right there and there, or the next day maybe, the latest, right? So now, if you know that there are termites of your money, wouldn't you want to do something about it? Of course, you should, right? But then again, we're not going to be diving down too much on these termites of money. For obvious reason, it's already there, right? So what I'm trying to talk about here right now, because is something that we don't talk most about. There's a portion of our finances that we are not looking, to make money for us. In fact, this is something that we all want to avoid, but we're all in it. It's the culprit again that we are all in, and it's called what? The expenses. Your expenses, it's a liability, of course. But hey, Enrico, we need to survive. We need to live. I understand that. It's given, but still, it's an expense, right? So that's just how it is. We have expenses, and the main goal really is to what? Is to get ahead of it as far as we can. That's the goal. Okay? That's the reason why some people, or most people that you talk to, I couldn't get ahead. It's just paycheck to paycheck. And sometimes, or most of the time, it's negative. Look at this, guys. Whether you are a spender or a saver, again, two types of people, right? A spender or a saver. We all have one thing in common. We all have expenses, correct? So, when you say expenses, Enrico, okay, let's just define what these expenses are. Well, I know you spend money, you get a house. It's an asset. That's, it's given. Still, that's money that you need to buy a house, okay? So, the average mortgage size here in this country is $422,000. That's the average. That's a lot, right? Again, average credit card balance is $5,525. Average. Oh, Enrico, I don't have that. That's why it's average. Right? And the other thing, the average car loan balance is $26,162. And this is just the example of these liabilities and the expenses, or, where we spend our money, So let's just look at the cost of living. Okay? This is the cost of living. Let's just look at it. Although, of course, guys, it's given that, living expense varies significantly by location. Yeah, but, let's just use an average number, for the cost of living. Okay, so the average monthly living expense for a single person, single like me, diba? Okay, in the US, here in this country, is $3,189, which is what? $38,266 per year. Can you imagine that, guys? If you're a single person and you're not earning $38,000 net income, in a year, I think you're in trouble. Because the average monthly living expense for you to live, living expense is $38,000. So if you're earning less than that, I think we are in trouble. So at least you have that number, right? Or the average cost of living for a family of 4, apat yan, si nanay, si tatay, si ate, si kuya, is $7,095 per month, which is what? $85,000 a year. So if your family or your household income is less than $85,000 with a family of 4, we are in trouble. So probably right now, guys, you might want to check your income, how much household income, that you have. And if you're a family of 4, it shouldn't go down $85,000 as a net income. So that's the cost of living. Okay, let's look at the granular side of the cost of living. So this is the common, okay? I'm not saying this is everything. This is the common monthly household expense. Okay, so the housing is $1,700. Again, this is just an average, right? So $1,700 for housing. It may be a rental. It may be you have your own mortgage. Okay, utilities is about $300. Transportation is $819. You might want to write this one, guys. I don't know how much you do make or you spend on. Just see how close you are with these numbers. Food, $610. Food away from home is $198. It's good this is $198 because I'm always out of my home. I'm telling you, it's more than that, right? Healthcare is $431. This is actually a good price for a family, for $431 for healthcare, right? For health insurance is another one, $306. This is cheap. Entertainment, $243. Now, I cannot tell you to forget about it. We need to unwind once in a while. Oh, that's okay. I got you guys. Let's just say we put $243 out of that. Gas is $131. Oh, now this says here monthly. Probably this is a week now. My God. I remember when the first time I was here in Vegas, how much was the gas at the time, right? Now it's just doubled. So housekeeping supplies. This is $70. I don't even know what those housekeeping supplies are at the moment. But personal care, that's $54. Education, I don't even know what education, probably just a book that you bought. Definitely this is not college. $106, right? So the total of the common monthly household expense is $5,172. And I'm sure most of you have more than that. So that's $5,172 of a common monthly household expense. How much is your expense? How much are your expenses, guys? I hope, you guys are actually writing this. It's different when you write it than you're actually thinking about it. Some people are just doing it as it comes. Oh, it's the first today. I remember I'll pay the first today, whatever, right? But whatever it is, guys, this is your basis for your monthly household expense. Okay? So, If you are an owner of a business, is another story. Of course, expenses such as what? Rents, payrolls, travels, utilities, insurances. Oh, there's a lot of insurances there. Maintenance and repairs, property taxes, office supplies, depreciation, advertising, and of course, I know, guys, you have more than that if you are a business owner. There's tons more that I was not able to list here. But the point here, guys, is these are all business expense. And these things that I'm actually telling you are the things that we try to avoid. But it's actually there, right? It's actually there. It's part of our operation, personal or business. So what do we do, guys, to be able to fund all of those? Of course, we try to what? Increase our cash flow. So increasing cash flow, some of us or most of us maybe, we go do side hustles, just to get an extra income. So how much extra income you want? I need $10,000 a month. Wow, that's a good extra income. But whatever it is, we have to increase cash flow to be able to what? To be able to sustain the living expenses or the operation of a business. Or some people, break their piggy banks, emergency funds, tap into their savings or take out a loan even. So these are the things that people do just to make sure that they get into what? To be able to pay their bills. Okay, some people, tightens their belt. They cut their expenses. But if you cut your expenses, you guys know already, if you do that, definitely lifestyle will change, right? Or, of course, business operation will change. Once in a while, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're in a position of always going after it and just, tightening our belts, there must be something that we have to do to be able to go ahead or get ahead of the game, right? So, the good news here, guys, is that, we can make money out of our expenses. Say what? Yes, you can make money out of your expenses, but of course, you have to design it correctly for you to be able to maximize it. But the whole idea of the concept right now, yes, you can turn liabilities into assets. You can convert expenses in making money for you. Now, that's something that we have to look into, because with TLA, the turning liabilities into an asset, we could use our expense money to fund the things that we need while we keep our lifestyle. Again, we can fund the things that we need while we keep our lifestyle. That's what I'm talking about. I remember when I was new in the industry, I just to be able to make a point to my clients, I tell them, hey, if you're doing McDonald's once a week, probably just do it once a month, so you have extra money to put into a life insurance or what have you, or probably if you go to a hair salon twice a month, probably you want to do it once in 2 months, something like that, just to put a saving. There's nothing wrong with that, guys, right? We're just trying to make sure that we can accommodate for example, a retirement plan or life insurance, what have you, for our future. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But now, can you imagine that we can actually use this expense money, right, to make money for you while you keep your lifestyle? That's what I'm talking about, right? Now, probably, guys, right now, you're if this is your first time to hear about turning liabilities into an asset, probably you see, this guy is telling me something that, it's my first time to hear, and that's good, guys. And I promise you, just keep your attention to this talk today, and you'll learn so much about this TLA. Okay, so what I always tell everybody: expenses are hidden gems. What? Expenses are unseen assets. Now, you have to look at this very carefully. Of course, so how do we turn liabilities into an asset? Okay, so the TLA formula really is a combination or the marriage of three things. A product should come from a mutual company. It should be a dividend-paying whole life policy. That's the secret formula to be able to create TLA. Okay? Well, Enrico, it sounds so complicated, mutual, dividends, policies like that. I know that's okay, guys. But the good news here, guys, is there are already companies who were able to formulate it for you. That all you have to do is to avail of that product and you are able to operate it now that like the TLA. Okay? So that's the good news. We have already ready products, ready to go products. That all you have to do is to avail it. And of course, you have to qualify to get it. And then you can now operate finances like a TLA. Okay, so, but before I move forward to how it actually works, I would like to talk to you guys about this. It's what you call the IRC 7702 or the Internal Revenue Code 7702. You heard me right. This is an IRS code. Okay, of course, not everybody's going to be familiar with 7702. If you do, that's very good. But if you don't, that's also okay. The Internal Revenue Code 7702 was instituted by the IRS in 1984. This is, in fact, the life insurance contract law. This IRC 7702 governs all the life insurance contract. So if you are an agent listening to me right now, yes, there's a law that supports it. At least now you know. But if you've known this one for a long time, that's very good. If you're a client, if you have questions about all of this, of course, you can refer this to your financial professionals and they'll explain more about the 7702. Okay? So of course, what it means here is that death benefits distributed to a life insurance contract, beneficiaries were actually free from the income tax provision. Can you imagine that? You can actually get this life insurance death benefit, okay, tax-free. Okay? The other one too, any gains that build up within the policy during the policy's lifetime, the policy's holder's lifetime, are not taxed as part of their income. What? The cash value that's growing inside life insurance is not taxed as part of their income. That's the power. In fact, I always tell people, this 7702 can protect you from liens, garnishes, judgment, divorce, annulment, and bankruptcy. That's why I call it the MC Hammer Law. Why MC Hammer Law, Enrico? Because can't touch this. Ding, 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 ding. Right? That's what I call MC Hammer Law. Nobody can touch it. All right? So, again, talk to your financial professional. Okay, so that they can explain more about a 7702. All right, so let's just dive down now to the TLA flow chart. Okay, so the TLA flow chart, you've heard me a while ago that there is a formula, a mutual company, and a dividend-paying whole life policy. So to cut the story short, you will need to use a whole life policy to be able to use, to operate turning liabilities into an asset. So let's open up a policy. Okay. But before that, this the whole idea of the flow chart is how the 7702 is affecting the whole life policy that I'm talking about. Because your money right now, you put it all to an IRA, 401k, 403b, TSP. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. But you have to understand that it's all taxable, attached to the market volatility. If you don't follow the government rules and regulations with those products, there's going to be penalties that will be applied. And there's tons of Wall Street fees attached to it. What 7702 allowed us to do is to what? To put money inside the life insurance contract that you grow it over time. When you take it out, it's going to be tax-free, penalty-free, and risk-free. Ask this again with your financial professionals, guys. But there's a lot of life insurance contract out there. It's all part of 7702. But because of the TLA that I'm talking about, we're going to be talking about the whole life insurance here, a whole life policy. Again, remember I was telling you the formula to TLA is a whole life dividend-paying whole life policy offered by a mutual company. So let's just go down into that. So we open up a policy, as I was saying a while ago. So we put $12,000 a year into the policy. A part of it goes to the cost of insurance. And the other part of that goes to the PUA rider or the cash value. Okay? But the goal here is to buy the smallest cost of insurance. Smallest amount. Because when we buy life insurance, we just buy life insurance. We don't even know that there's such a way that you can actually manipulate it. Well, for the lack of a better word, you put a small amount of cost of insurance, just enough to see that it is actually life insurance by 7702, and the rest of the money you put it into the savings. So if you put $12,000 into the policy, let's just say we put $2,000 into the cost of insurance, and $10,000 goes to your savings. Okay. Now that $10,000, we will put it into bucket A. That $10,000 will grow in a fixed rate, of a fixed interest rate that will actually be growing a dividend inside that bucket. There's two important words here, guys. It should be growing compoundingly, and the second one is uninterruptedly. What do you mean by this? When you put your $10,000 there, that $10,000 will just grow and grow and grow and grow. Now the question here, guys, is, Enrico, what if I need money from that? That's great. Because we're not going to touch that money from bucket A. Rather, we will borrow against that bucket A using the bucket B. What? There's bucket B? Yeah, there's bucket B. The bucket B is going to be your source of fund. This is going to be a pool of money of the life insurance company. And this is going to be other people's money. What do you mean by this? You can borrow from this bucket B against your bucket A. So if you have $10,000 in bucket A, you can borrow up to 95% of that value from bucket B. So you using our unique borrowing feature, you can borrow up to $9,500 in bucket B. So let's just say we borrowed money, $9,500 from bucket B. The question is, will my $10,000 in bucket A will still grow? The answer is what? Yes. That's the magic. You have access now to a $9,500 that you actually don't have. The basic fundamentals of economics is what? Capital formation. Not credit, right? Capital formation. You just had access to capital that you don't have. You just borrowed against your bucket A. You have now $9,500. Of course, there's no such thing as free lunch. Okay? So you will be charged by the insurance company 5% when you borrow from them. But this is a 5% simple interest. Remember I was telling you about bucket A? Your money is actually growing compoundingly. So again, talk to your financial professionals with regards to the difference between a simple interest and a compounding interest, right? So guys, you borrowed $9,500. So at this point, the question is, Enrico, do I have to pay what I borrowed? Well, according to the book, it says that you don't have to because your collateral is your bucket A and your death benefit of a life insurance. But then again, guys, if you want to make use of this effectively, you have to pay the what you loaned. You can pay the loan by the dividends only. You can pay any amount at any time. Nobody's going to call you every 30 days. Hey Joe, you're up already 30 days is up. You have to pay what you borrowed, or you can pay the interest. You can pay the interest only. Or if I were you, I'll be paying the principal plus the interest on top of it. What interest are you talking about, Enrico? Well, the reason why I'm saying that is, when you borrow money from a bank, when you talk about interest, that interest goes to the bank, right? Here, when you pay the principal and you pay an interest on top of it, the net interest is actually be added into your bucket A. That's the power. Because the goal here is for you to grow bucket A so that what? You can borrow more from bucket B and you can pay back more to bucket A. Now you would see that there's actually a cash flow inside a life insurance contract. That's the magic. Probably right now, guys, it's a little bit confusing. That's okay, because the first time that I heard this one, it just made me as confused as you. All right? Okay, so let's just move forward first. We just leave it at that. Okay, so turning liabilities into an asset, again, as I've mentioned, is converting your expenses into making money for you. While everybody is looking the other way, you're actually looking at the opposite of where everybody is looking at. So that's why I'm talking about a while ago. We know that there's a lot of financial platforms out there to help us with our financial challenges. But there's one thing that we haven't probably have seen or even considered to think of or to work on. These are your expenses. So again, expenses are hidden gems. Expenses are unseen assets, right? So the expenses that we have are mortgage, car note, credit card, personal loan, rentals, household expense, and even what? Business expense. Okay? So now the expense flow chart works like this. Your income today, wherever it's going to come from, right? We put it in the bank. And from the bank, guys, we actually pay all our bills, right? So we pay all our bills. And what happens after we pay all our bills? It's gone. That's exactly my point. Okay? Using our turning liabilities into an asset, we're going to be tweaking it a little bit. But don't worry, guys, we're almost done. All right? We're going to be tweaking it a little bit. So the TLA process, remember, we have to open up a life insurance policy, right? So a part of it goes to the cost of insurance. This cost of insurance is, of course, we have, and regrettably, guys, we have to pay cost of insurance for this to work, right? So that cost of insurance, well, definitely it will buy you life insurance. And of course, life insurance, you already know that. When a person dies, there's a death benefit equivalent to it. And living benefits, when a person gets sick, terminal illness, chronic illness, such things, right? Or a specific or critical illness, you can advance or accelerate the death benefit if you suffer one of those. By the way, I always tell these people, when they buy life insurance, it automatically increases state value. What do you mean by this? If you pay $100 and there's $100,000 of a death benefit, you just increase your state value $100,000, right? Anyway, going back to this one, the cost of insurance, remember, we have to buy only a very small amount of cost of insurance just to make sure that it is a life insurance. Remember the bucket B, where this is the life insurance money or the life insurance company's money. That's going to be your source. This is going to be your bank. This is going to be your money or pool of money. This is other people's money, whatever you call it. Using our unique borrowing feature, we will use that money to pay all our bills. Mortgage, car note, credit card, business expense, personal loans, etc. That's what we're going to be using to pay all of our expenses. Now, remember the money that's actually gone. We were now able to free it up and put it into a cash value of that life insurance policy. Well, this is now old money becoming new money, because instead of losing it, instead of that money being gone, now you kept it, you freed it up, and put it into the cash value of the life insurance policy. Remember your bucket A? There you go. It's going to grow what? A fixed interest plus the dividends, and that grows compounding uninterruptedly. That's your cash value now. And it's going to grow, according to 7702, what? Tax-free. That's the power. So that's an example now, guys, of how a turning liabilities into an asset works. So probably I can give an example. Say for example, you have a mortgage of $2,000. Let's just say we put $2,500 into the policy. This is just a concept, guys. Okay, so just for you to illustrate to you how it actually works. So we put $300 in the cost of insurance, $2,200 into your cash value. You borrow 95% of that. Let's just say it's $2,000. Now you borrow from bucket B $2,000 and you put it into your mortgage. So again, next month you put another $2,500, borrow $2,000, pay for your mortgage. In 2 months you put in what? $5,000, but you borrowed $4,000, but your $4,000 still growing there in bucket A. That's the power of this. Again, the basic fundamentals or the fundamentals of economics is what? Capital formation. Not credit, but capital formation. So that is, guys, how the turning liabilities into an asset works. Okay, and this is what I tell everybody, guys. You have to make sure that you are able to recapture the lost opportunity cost of your money. How do you do that? By using the TLA. Again, you're recapturing the lost opportunity cost of your money. Remember the example, $5,000, you borrowed $4,000, but your money's still growing in $4,000. That's powerful. You just recaptured the lost opportunity cost of your money. And again, guys, the TLA is a process where you can actually turn liabilities into an asset using this life insurance policy. What type of life insurance policy is that? It's a whole life policy. Reach out to your financial professionals and ask, what is a good policy for a TLA? This is, of course, a tool to harness the power of your expenses. Again, can you imagine, guys? You are harnessing a money that should have been gone. That's what I would want you guys to think of about turning liabilities into an asset. Of course, you can now focus on developing your lifestyle, keeping the expenses. I like that, right? Honey, you can now go to your beauty salon. I got you. Guys, you do not have to be afraid in exploring new things. It's good to be skeptical, but you have to prove if you are actually right or wrong. So you just go ahead and look for your financial professional and ask about TLA, and don't be afraid to explore new things. I know some things that that you are already used of doing, but it doesn't hurt that you try to learn some other things to be able to grow your wealth. Especially now we're talking about making money out of your expenses. And don't be the last to know, guys. Again, don't be the last to know, guys. Again, have you actually ever seen yourself that you're always last to know? There's nothing wrong, by the way, because in the marketplace, there's always going to be somebody who's going to be falling in line in Best Buy just to get the latest gadget. And there are people who's going to be just saying, okay, I want you to see it first, and see what happens. And some of the market, it's just okay. I'll just wait and see. It doesn't matter if I'm the second person to have it. And some people are called the laggards. The only reason why they actually have a touch phone because there's no rotary phone anymore. Right? So guys, this is now the moment that we are in the forefront of changing the financial industry by looking at it in a very different perspective. So again, I hope you guys learned something with the turning liabilities into an asset. We just tried to bring back the first topic that we had 6 months ago. And again, guys, it's happy 6 months anniversary too in my toolbox, right? So I just hope you learned something there, turning liabilities into an asset. Please don't forget to get in touch with your financial professionals and ask about this information. Again, guys, thank you so much for being here in this show tonight, for supporting In My Toolbox from the bottom of my heart in behalf of PHLV and In My Toolbox. Magandang gabi mga kaibigan! Woohoo!